What is up, everybody? Welcome to the U.S. Open Cup recap video here on Touchline Talk. Houston Dynamo defeat Inter Miami 2-1 to win the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. Ultimately, got a little stressful in the end, but it was a deserving victory for the Dynamo, all things being told. My big takeaway, the big standout thing from this game, you look at those first 20 or so minutes, both teams got the ball into the final third. Neither created all of these really good opportunities, but it felt like every time Houston got something going in attack, there was an idea, the execution was really good, the passing in particular was outstanding. You felt like there was something there that it eventually was going to happen. Whereas on the Miami side, you saw a lot of bad passes that got intercepted, ambitious passes that didn't end up working out. Just the execution, the quality of the passing wasn't there. And that was basically the story of the game. It continued that way at least through the end of the first half. Houston continued to play really well, move the ball really well. Eventually, the goals start coming. You get two. They have a third one that's wiped off. There was that stretch early in the second half. Miami started to put some things together, got back into the game, at least control a little bit. Joseph Martinez scores late on to make things interesting in the final moments. But generally, this was pretty comfortable from the Dynamo. Really, really, really impressive performance. I mean, Miami didn't have a shot until the 42nd minute. And you look at that front six for Houston, the two holding mids, the three attacking mids, and Corey Barrett up top. Every single one of them had a huge impact in this game. Different ways, but they were outstanding. And that's really where I want to start this from the Houston side. Don't sleep on the talent that Pat Onstad has built with this team. This is a really good team, particularly in the midfield. And because they're a smaller market in MLS, don't have the highest profile names, it's easy to kind of sleep on what is happening in Houston to not be paying attention to them this season. But any midfield that has Artur, Hector Herrera playing the way that Hector Herrera is this season, and Coco Carrasquilla, that is a high level midfield in Major League Soccer. And then you've got some nice pieces around them. Is it the most talented team in the league? Of course not. But this is a really good team, and you saw that tonight with the way that they were able to dominate that first half and just the quality on the ball, whoever it was. Picking out passes, connecting in the final third. Corey Barrett had some really nice combination play. They were just excellent for 45 minutes and were able to hold on for the final 45 to get the win. What Ben Olsen has done is one of the stories of MLS this season that's not getting talked about enough. Starting with his own narrative and people's perceptions about him when he got this job, that rather uninspiring hire, nothing to really get excited about. And he immediately came in and turned him around. I pointed this out in my preseason preview. They didn't just bring in a bunch of MLS veterans. They brought in a bunch of MLS veterans who have won MLS Cup. A couple of them started in this game, Andrew Tarbell and net, Artur in midfield. How much the MLS Cup part of it matters, I still wrestle with. My point is simply they brought in guys who know how to win and know what it takes to win in this league. And then you add that to some of the financial investment you've seen with the new ownership, getting guys like Carrasquilla and Hector Herrera, higher level talent, and all of a sudden you have a very good team that, if they would perform better on the road, would be right up there near the top of the Western Conference and are still in that conversation for home field even with their struggles on the road, which makes this game even all that more interesting. They were able to put this performance in a cup final away from home, considering their away form in MLS, but nonetheless, they are Open Cup champions. On the Miami side, of course, the story here is that Jordi Alba and Lionel Messi didn't play. I still wholeheartedly believe Miami handled this correctly from start to finish. This is the game they should have prioritized after the League's Cup. If it costs you a playoff spot, fine. You can't control the injuries. If you would have said Messi and Alba wouldn't be available for this game, maybe it's a different conversation. But you can't know that ahead of time. They were trying to play, just didn't have enough time to recover. I applaud Miami for playing for trophies and for making this the priority. It didn't work in the end, but there's just no guarantee you're going to make the playoffs. And that's the other part of this that I want to kind of end on. Not a particularly great day without Messi and Alba. Sergio Busquets was poor. Farias didn't have the same kind of impact he had recently. And so this reinforced where I've kind of settled with this Inter Miami team. They have been good without Messi. Maybe not great, but they're absolutely a playoff team without him. The way that this is going, when you add a Busquets in there, when you add a potentially a Jordi Alba sometimes, Tata Martino has made this team better. These players without Messi. That's why they've been able to stay in the playoff conversation even though Messi's missed some games. And they've been able to continue to climb and keep themselves within striking distance. I still think there's a chance that even if Messi is sidelined a little longer, they can do this. I'm becoming more and more convinced they're going to make the playoffs, which is not where I really didn't think they were going to. Now I'm warming to that possibility, in large part because of what I've seen without Messi on the field. This group might be able to do this without him, to a certain extent, to hold on long enough until he gets back. But they're a slightly above average MLS team without him. That's the reality. That's nothing new. And so to me, heading into the rest of the season, as now all they have to focus on is MLS and trying to make the playoffs, that's my big picture synopsis of where this Miami team is. They might not need Messi to make the playoffs, but they absolutely need him to make a run at MLS Cup to be any kind of factor. They're just a fine team that, on the right day, can look really good when you get the right performances from the right players. These guys deserve credit for keeping this team in the running. But you saw it again in this game that there's just no reason you should have been that thoroughly outplayed on your home field in the first half by a team that nobody expected to be good this season. And again, I give Houston all the credit in the world. It was a really good performance. They have been really good all season. But it's not like that was LAFC or Cincinnati that came in there. You would have hoped it wouldn't have been so lopsided in that first half, but ultimately those first 15, 20 minutes were telling. There just wasn't enough quality when it came to passing in the final third. And Houston came in and provided plenty of quality, got the goals, and were able to see the game out. So congratulations to the Dynamo, 2023 U.S. Open Cup champions. We'll see where Inter Miami go from here as they turn their focus to the push for the playoffs. And we'll see whether Houston can kind of use this as a springboard to continue to move up the standings as well. That is all for this video recapping the U.S. Open Cup final. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. I'll see you next time.